Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Rico here, CEO of Sourcefly in Asia, co-host of the Made in China podcast, now available on Spotify. And I'm back with another one. This is going to be a quick hit episode. Basically, I want to talk about forming long-lasting business partnerships in China. It takes a while to develop. Talk about business partnerships. I think China in terms of business as a whole is obviously one of the fastest countries where you can get stuff done. You can make things. There's buildings coming up all the time. They're developing their own Silicon Valley in Shenzhen. I think recently, the Silicon Valley in Shenzhen surpassed the American one in terms of the amount of investment and the amount of startups. Maybe it was more investment that's being pumped into it. So when the business sense, things are moving extremely quickly. But if you're forming a partnership in China, if you're trying to develop a partnership with a factory, or you're trying to get investors, maybe not the ones that are so tech savvy, that stuff takes maybe a year or 6 months, of grooming and development and going for sometimes what I've talked about this before, but sometimes what feels like meaningless dinners and lunches and things like that. Like I've explored obviously opportunities here and things pop up just because I'm here all the time and I'm a Westerner and stuff like that. So sometimes factories approach me with ideas. Sometimes some of my Chinese business friends will approach me with ideas. And even then it's like, they all say that they want to move quickly, but when we meet the potential client or the potential partner, it's this long drawn out process where we have to meet multiple times. We have to go for dinners, we have to go for lunches, they have to get to know you over a long period of time before they actually put money up. So you want to be spending, if you're trying to break into the Chinese market, one, you have to pretty much be here. If you're not here, then you have to have a partner that's here full time. It's almost impossible for you to break into the Chinese market without physically being in China for an extended period of time. I don't know anybody that is running a business where they're selling to Chinese companies or selling to Chinese people, selling products to Chinese people that's not physically here or didn't have to come here initially to set up their entire operation, or at least doesn't have a partner in mainland China that they're working with. I think it's absolutely imperative that you do that if you're trying to sell into China. I think the meaning behind all those dinners and stuff like that is basically they want to see how you behave in different situations. It's also a cultural thing where, they take partnerships very seriously. Like the contract isn't as important as the relationship. And this translates to dealing with factories and things like that. So like, if you have a good partnership, if you keep your word, if you say you're gonna do what you said you're gonna do from the beginning, then that develops a trust, and then that's when they're willing to part with money. So just be patient. I think a lot of people want to jump into China and they think it's going to be like just jumping in here and within 3 months like making a ton of money. It doesn't work like that. If it worked like that, then everybody would be doing it. I mean, there's so many opportunities here. There's so many large corporations that have failed to break into the Chinese market like multiple times over the years. So if some of these large corporations that spent sometimes billions of dollars in China and failed, or hundreds of millions or millions or even hundreds of thousands, what makes you think that you would be able to come in here and just figure it out? There's a small amount of people that have been able to do that. And then something else just to be cautious is Michael Michelini, who's been on the podcast a bunch of times, has talked about this, is be cautious about bringing on investment in China because it's not the same. I think when you get investment here, there's a much higher expectation. Like they expect you to go above and beyond what's been promised. Even just as a client, like if you sign a Chinese company to provide some service to them, there's going to be the service and then there's going to be plus on top of that. So you always have to keep that in mind and just be cautious. But yeah, it's a quick hit little video. Again, listen to the podcast on Spotify. It's available now. You can stream it, download it, whatever you do. And then, of course, it's available on all other streaming platforms. And I will see you guys next week. Like, comment, subscribe.